Formed in London in 1962. They have been active for almost 6 decades, with 55 albums of original work and compilations. They have sold over 200 million records worldwide. Love them or hate them, the Rolling Stones are without a doubt one of the most important bands in the history of popular music. Their first stable lineup included vocalist Mick Jagger, guitarist and multi-instrumentalist Brian Jones, guitarist Keith Richards, drummer Charlie Watts and Bill Wyman on bass. Brian Jones was the primary leader in the early days. He assembled the band, named it and drove their sound and image. Brian Jones was on the phone talking to a journalist about his new band. When asked what the band's name was, Jones noticed a Muddy Waters LP lying on the floor, and one of the tracks was called Rolling Stone. In haste, he told the journalist that was his band's name. So this is a location of what used to be the Crawdaddy Club. It was named after the Bo Diddley song. The Rolling Stones first played here in February 1963. The Stones were so popular by April of that year they were playing 2 gigs a week at the Crawdaddy. So number 48, that building there right behind me, and that's where Mick Jagger used to live. So that building there right behind me, that's where Keith Richards used to live, at number 3. Today we're in Cheltenham and we're looking for the childhood home of Brian Jones. Brian Jones lived here in Eldorado Road in Cheltenham from 1942 to 1950.
He heard a Charlie Parker record when he was 15 and he persuaded his parents to buy him a saxophone.
After leaving school and against his parents' wishes, Brian decided not to go to uni.
He had a series of dead-end jobs whilst obsessing over the blues and practicing slide guitar.
He briefly joined the Ramrods,
Brian Jones would go on to become multi-instrumentalist,
popularising jazz and blues guitar styles, introducing black American music to both British and American audiences,
and becoming one of the first in Britain to play slide guitar.
On the 3rd of July 1969, Brian Jones was found dead in his swimming pool. After spending the night drinking, he and 3 friends went for a swim. Brian was left on his own in the pool, and when someone went to check on him, she found him lying motionless in the water. The Rolling Stones bass player Bill Wyman remains convinced it was just an accident, joining a number of musicians that died at the age of 27. Robert Johnson, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse and Kurt Cobain. This puts Brian Jones in the cultural phenomenon known as the 27 Club. So Oxford Street 165. That building there right behind me, and that's where the Rolling Stones first played, at the Marquee Club. As a child, Charlie Watts would have lived here in Wembley at number 23 Pilgrim's Way. Many of Wembley's houses would have been destroyed during the World War. Charlie's family lived here in what was known as a prefab. Thank you, Charlie, for giving the Rolling Stones your legendary swing. You was the most modest man in popular music, and your beat will live on forever. Click this video right here for a brief history on Amy Winehouse.